And
Thank you.
now we'll move into the second part. We'll give you a little pause here and we move to the second part where Amit will start off again. This is now the hot context, Amit, is the Ashes, where we will discuss and understand from Raj what it is actually happening. So over to you, Amit.
Uh, so, uh, so what is your take like, given the fact that uh, Mark Wood is still, I don't know, I mean, how fit he is, whether he is kind of good enough to play, or let's say he is good enough to survive the entire rigors of 5 day test matches for 5 consecutive matches. So, what do you think? Like, if Wood is not fully fit, maybe Archer will play maybe 3 or 4 tests. And also one point that is coming to my mind at this point of time is Pat Cummins is also not certain to play the first test, right? So he himself said, I was watching one of his interviews with Nathan Lyon, that he himself doesn't know that when he will be totally fit and kind of ready to go in the
I
Ashes. So
think
what is your
Amit,
take?
there is a press. I'm just interrupting you. There's a press conference. There's a press release today morning which says, which I've shared in Facebook also, which says that Pat Cummins could probably be out of the whole series. So the dimension totally changes if he's out for the whole series.
Exactly. So Paddy Cummins, apart from being a good bowler, see, I know maybe Scotty Bowler in Australian conditions,
Yeah.
he's a handful. I mean, I have seen him bowl, and he's a kind of a McGrath kind of a bowler who will kind of pitch the ball the same place again and again, and he will test your patience. So I know that from the bowling perspective, Scott Boland might kind of be able to replace Pat Cummins. But having said that, do you think that Australia has enough in the um, uh, reserve in the sense like who will take up Patty's role as a skipper? Does they kind of again fall back to Stephen Smith, or they will look for other options? So yeah, that's all,
They
Raj, for you.
they will most likely look at Steven Smith, and England will be hoping that they don't, because Steven Smith is a much better captain than Pat Cummins. He is more
You really feel
astute.
so?
Yes, he's more
But
astute than Pat Cummins.
I, I I don't know. I mean, being an 80s kid, I whatever I've seen of Smith, I mean, I don't know. It does seem that Smith is a little soft as compared to Paddy Cummins. Paddy Cummins, he will. I mean, I have seen whenever India was having the upper hand in the last series down under, Paddy Cummins used to come and take those crucial wickets, and he
Yeah.
was always active instead of Smith, who is, let's say, who is filled behind the sleeps, or maybe close to the batsman. Uh, Cummins, somehow I feel it's more intimidating than Steven Smith. What is your take?
Oh, no, definitely, because one is a fast bowler and one is a more like a batsman, even though he started as a leg spinner. But I think from a pure captaincy point of view, Steve Smith's field placements, change of bowlers is much better than Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins does come back and takes the charge, takes the mantle of getting the breakthrough, which he does very often. And that's a captain's choice, right? Because even back, in the days when Saurav Ganguly was captain, he used to bring himself on and get the breakthrough so often, just because the other side wasn't expecting that pace or uh, that sort of bowling action. And so I think, look, Pat Cummins as a bowler is a different entity. Pat Cummins as a captain is a different entity, and that's what I'm comparing the captaincy, not comparing his coming and taking the breakthrough wickets, which obviously will be missed. Pat Cummins will be missed, but Scott Boland has a tremendous record in Australia, and he is a handful. He has a better record than Pat Cummins in Australia in the last, you know, whenever he's played. In fact, he leaves everybody behind.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they will miss that edge of coming and taking wickets, but Boland can replace him well. I mean, in fact, Boland got Constas out cheaply. one of the recent matches,
Mhm.
Victoria versus New South Wales. Yeah, but I think the English side will be hoping that Pat Cummins comes back.
No, we Indians actually do not like Paddy Cummins because he broke our heart in the 2023 World Cup when he actually came back and dismissed Virat Kohli. The entire ground was silent, and I personally felt that, I mean, the comment that he made after winning the World Cup, that it is so nice to kind of silence the whole crowd. That actually made me very kind of, it did seem that he was sounding egoistic, but at the same time, the level of confidence that he showed during that phase, it was something that, I mean, I, being a kind of passionate Indian cricket lover, I didn't like. I mean, Steven
Yeah,
Smith would have probably answered in a different way, but
yeah.
Paddy
Look,
Cummins coming and
Pat Cummins' style is like that. He is very. I think he's actually not arrogant. He's very humble. Uh, because if you look at the recording of when he landed back in Australia after winning the World Cup, he came by himself. The
yeah,
Australian
I
team,
saw that. I
and there
saw
was
that.
nobody. There was no fanfare. There was
Yeah.
no like what happened in
But
Marine Drive.
That Aussie culture, right, Raj? I mean, that is Aussie
Yeah,
culture. You don't have the star culture.
exactly. But he has the right to say that he liked to, put the stadium, make the stadium quiet. I think
Absolutely.
it's up to
Absolutely.
the Indian batsman who comes after Kohli to say, no, I want the crowd to roar back. It's up to them.
You
So,
being very much Australian. You was really sounding like Australian.
no, look, not really. I follow Indian cricket far more than I follow Australian cricket. When Australia is playing against India, I'm always backing India. So that's I'm looking at it from the perspective of I don't think Pat Cummins is arrogant. In fact, he's done a fantastic job after coming back from the sandpaper gate, getting the respect back into the side. He's won the respect of Steve Smith. Um, so the only reason Steve Smith will lead the test side will be because of Pat Cummins' absence. So
Okay.
there was never any doubt that Australian Cricket Board will really punish Steve Smith by never letting him captain. But because his attitude has been so good of performing and just following and doing his best, being very consistent, they have occasionally let him lead. And yeah, if Pat Cummins gets off the ground, it's always Steve Smith who's setting the field anyways.
Raj, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm looking
yeah.
at a future perspective here. Sorry, Rahul, just one moment.
No,
I'm
no
looking at a
worries.
future perspective. What do you think? Like, let's say Pat Cummins is not available. Maybe Steve Smith goes off the ground for maybe a couple of hours. Who takes over during that time? I mean, who is the
I, I
second?
think I think at this stage will be Travis Head.
Travis said he's the official vice captain. Yeah,
Yeah,
Travis said.
at this stage. But
Mhm.
the future captain most likely will be Cameron Green.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, given his
Manas
age.
Lavashne. Or Manas Lavashne. Both of one of them.
Yeah, Labuschagne is not like he's not a serious character. He's not serious enough to be Australian cricket test captain.
But then Raj, if Cameron Green is a captain, it's a surprise. 23 years of age, captain. Australia doesn't make captains at 23. Again, something anti-Australian, very much.
Not really anti. It's down to the attitude and
Choice.
demeanor of Green rather than the ACB. It's his capability rather than their
But
approach.
your white format game is Mitch Marsh. That is more or less settled for another 2 years, maybe. Mitch Marsh is a white captain.
In T20s.
Yeah, yeah.
T20
Depending on two things, his
form.
form and performance. Like he has to be very consistent.
Raj,
Mm.
before I wrap it up, I mean, I have just a couple of questions which probably will be summing up whatever I wanted to say. So, does Mitch Marsh has the chance to again come back and drafted into Australian playing 11, given the fact that Bo Webster and Cam Green, they are performing well? This is
Do
my
you mean the
first
test
question, and
side?
yeah, I'm in the test side. Yeah, any
Uh,
chance?
Yeah, no, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. There has to be some injuries to both Green and Webster.
But
Then it's a no-brainer that you get someone like Mitch Marsh. Mitch Marsh will
okay,
not be phased by that opportunity. I mean,
okay,
you have to understand these guys like Mitch Marsh, who have cricket in their blood. They know nothing else but to come out and perform and play.
yeah,
It's like a very steady way of life because he's grown up in that environment with his family. So he can be called upon to play cricket anytime. But the opportunity will only come if both the investments they have made in Cameron Green and Bo Webster, if both of them somehow are injured at the same time.
okay. And finally, before I wrap it up from my end, so what's your take? Like, what's the score line at the end of the Ashes?
Yeah,
Your gut feeling.
Rahul knows me well. I never predict in sports. I've learned it the very hard way. Look, it's going to be a very hard fought innings because it will probably be the last Ashes tour for someone like Joe Root and Ben Stokes,
And Steve
most
Smith.
likely. Yeah, most likely. But Steve Smith might still travel to England in the future, but I don't know if he will be around when England come back.
Joe Root
So
is 34, while Steve Smith is 37. So, Raj, I think Joe Root has another one. I don't know. I'm not sure.
yeah, but let's see. England also has its own funny ways. If you look at
Hmm.
their history of Kevin Peterson,
So
Alistair
you,
Cook.
you you were saying Australia will not bulldoze what we think in India they're going to bull. Mostly it's the general Indian media says it's 4-0 Australia. You're
No,
saying
no,
no, no, not 4-0.
no.
Sure.
England will give a much closer fight. It will be a
Mm,
much closer test match. Look, even if there is, and usually the test match in Sydney is a bit,
yeah,
one which can get
like
rain, and so it'll be a much closer series than the India-Australia series.
But
so you
Raj,
think? Yeah,
I have a pointer here. Like, I mean, if Wood and Archer they do not play together, who is that English bowler that will trouble the Aussies? I don't see anyone. I mean, if you see the last series against India, India
correct.
actually dominated most of the match, most of the test matches, apart from
Sessions.
I think
Yeah,
barring one. Yeah, most of the sessions while batting.
yeah.
So, this guy, Shoaib Bashir, who is supposed to be the let's say next Graham Swan, I really didn't find him any threat at all. So, what is your take? I mean, who will take the Australian wickets?
I think the Australians will have to
Yeah,
give
good
away their
question.
they'll have to give away their wickets to Josh Chung or
Braden
you know
Gus.
yeah, yeah. Um, Look, it's
Joe
a
Root
good
might take.
question, but look, that's the thing about sports that if you think about the India win in Australia, the previous tour, not the most recent tour, when with the ragtag team they beat Australia in both
Uh,
MCG
MCG
and the
and
Brisbane.
Perth
and
Yeah,
Gabba.
and
Brisbane. Yeah.
Brisbane.
So
Sorry, not Perth.
how did that come about? See, that's the thing about sports that predicting is one of those that somebody should do if this is how they make a living. But when somebody is like going to watch cricket for the fun of it, for the enjoyment of it, my I think it'll be a very close series, and the edge is with England for the batting and with Australia for the bowling. So now it's back to the classic, what kind of pitches are going to be made? Mostly the pitches in Australia have been a bit stayed. Like the last time India was here, it wasn't like the ball is doing talking, a lot of the talking. It wasn't like that. It was just that India did not bat well enough and in a rush of blood, and it's down to that uh, Rishabh Pant before lunch on that. I think it was the fourth day,
Fourth
trying to
day, yeah.
hit, yeah, trying to hoik Travis Head, a part-time bowler. Like Rishabh Pant was in the form of the series, but that one brain fade was what led, that collapse. And also, don't forget that after that, Nitish Kumar Reddy has never come back after that 100 that he made.
Yeah, yeah. His
Yeah, he's been
selection is very, very questionable now.
Yeah, but he has the talent. It's a question of how, again, back to that, how consistent will the selectors be with him? Like they were not consistent with Hanuma Vihari. They were not consistent with Mayank Agarwal. So yeah.
Yeah, Mayank is a
Anyways,
talent vested, I think. Yeah. Thanks, Amit.
yeah.
We are
Yeah.
running a little
Thank you
short.
so much.
We
Yeah.
over to Sudeep for your question.
Thanks. Raj, now the captain is, most likely unavailable for the entire series. So Scott Boland is most probably the likely replacement, for the entire series. But coming to this bowling lineup of Australia, all the four bowlers, including Nathan Lyon, they are all 36 plus, 36, 37. Now, if somebody breaks down, now who do you see are the likely replacement, the younger replacements in this Ashes? It's such a long series, no? It's a high possibility that
Yeah.
anybody can
I
break
think this is a
down.
very pertinent question, Raj, and I would like you to answer this because the bowling of Australia, Sans Cummins is weak. And again, if one of them now 35 plus breaks down, I think England is really having a good chance. So, what's your
Look, it's a bit counterbalanced, right? If you look at the English pick, their bowlers, I mean, they're kind of, except for Josh Tongue, we saw a little bit of him. Matthew Potts or Gus Atkinson, like who are they? Will they win a series? So I think it's a question of how much can one side, which is being picked, afford an injury. That's what I believe. That I think it's like Bumrah's breakdown in England. You know, India still won, a test match without him. So I think it's
No,
about
I
who
think,
steps up.
yeah, Raj, what Sudeep is wanting to ask is what are the pipeline? What's the bench? If one
How's
of
the bench
these
strength,
three,
the
yeah, what's
younger
the
bowlers,
bench?
any promising
Yeah,
younger
who
bowler
are they
who comes
going?
to your mind?
If Boland breaks down or Hazelwood breaks down, who's the bench?
Look, it's a hard question to answer because see, the my take on this Australian side is that the strength they have is their experienced bowling attack, like their pace quartet. And they have someone like Boland who can come and win matches. Um, if any of like whether it's Stark or Hazelwood, if any of them break down, it'll be harder for Australia. I mean, I don't think they have blooded anybody recently. That's been one of their challenges when performance is there and they have this space quartet that is coming constantly. There's no reason to blood anybody else. They haven't really blooded anybody else. So I see the pipeline is very weak. Yeah. There hasn't been anybody who's been able to come in and break through. Like even any breakthrough, it's always been Scott Boland. And he's been picking fifers. So
At home, I think 12 point is average bowling is 12 point something, it's
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah. I
But
think like that's why this series is a bit more even because the English batting, I believe, is far stronger in a better position than the Australian batting. Having said that, if Marnus Labuschagne and Steve Smith, like they are very hungry run getters. If they perform well in a duo,
and
they will be
Travis had,
hard.
if he clicks, then again,
Yeah, yeah.
he
Travis
takes
said
away the
yes.
match. He takes away the
Yeah, Raj, I have four names from the Australian website. Lance Morris, Jai Richardson, you must be knowing Jai Richardson, Fergus O'Neill, and Callum Vidler. So any take on these four?
I would say pick any of them. I don't know much about them, but the thing is that's the reason because they have not been blooded at the international scene. Jai Richardson is the only
Only.
name which is remotely familiar. They haven't they haven't needed to for close to about 7 or 8 years now.
Lance Morris, and you're right, Fergus O'Neill and Callum Vidler, I think Amit had mentioned a few months back. Callum Vidler is, I think, the A side. Callum Vidler.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Look,
so it is looks like that if anyone breaks down, they are really in spot of a bother then, Raj. Australia is in real bother
oh no, I
because it's
mean
a long series.
it is, but see, anybody they pick who's used to the Australian conditions should be fine. It's like Scott Boland. Where did they get him from? Nobody had heard of him when he
right.
got picked, and he performed the way he did.
Just regarding the spin department in Nathan Lyon, if he gets injured, then I think Adam Zampa is the most likely replacement. Right?
But they're not picking Zampa, I think. They're not picking
For
Zampa for
test,
test
I
at
don't
least.
think they are. In case of any exigency, suppose somebody, Nathan Lyon is not available, then I think Zampa, I think, is the only alternative in
No, I
tests.
think they had worked with I think Hanscom.
Trevor Hanscom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe, but yeah, it's hard to see. Look, my view on the Australian, it's not so much the cricketers, it's more around Australian cricket, is that they are not going to go into an Ashes series with. They would even not let Pat Cummins play if he was injured slightly. So they would not do what Ben Stokes did, come back to the final
Ben
test
Stokes,
match
we were
injured.
discussing, it was highly risky. At the age of 35, I think he risked his career. It was on the line. We discussed this in our studio
But
also.
he would have wanted to do it, like they didn't tell him, he would have said yes, because he knew that the the alternative was to bring back Mark Wood when he was still not
Still
ready.
not ready, match ready. Yes, that was the only alternative to get market. And they wanted to protect, as you rightly said, they wanted market fresh for Ashes. That was obviously on the cards. So you're saying Jai Richardson, Fergus O'Neill, and Callum Bidler, none rings a bell to you? None.
Look, they could pick, like I said, if there's an injury, they could pick any of them who they believe will be the most consistent performer on the day, given the conditions.
This I'm picking from 7. I mean, News 7 website. I'm picking up these names, 4 names. Key players who can replace. So these are from a website. Callum Bidler, Fergus O'Neill, Jai Richardson.
This is in case of an injury, but I don't see
Correct.
it. It's the way they manage cricket is not going. It's not like Bumrah. They're not going to have a Bumrah.
Okay.
And even
Fair
Mitchell Stark, who bowls, faster than Bumrah.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen him break down?
Very relevant.
The man management around players is much more sort of evolved.
Then what happens, Raj, to round up Sudeep's question, when all this to retire, because Stark, Hazelwood, and Leo were almost on the last, then you guys will lose everything for the next 2 years. Like India's batting.
Probably.
You don't have any substitute because you yourself, even in Australia for 30 years almost, you are unable to say, except Jai Richardson, you are not able to say who's going to be the replacement.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
There's also a big
difference.
Or is
Nathan Ellis? There's a Nathan Ellis, I think. I think he's playing also today's ODI. He's playing today's
Nathan
ODI
Ellis.
Nathan Ellis.
Okay.
See, there's also a big difference in how cricket is run. Like, cricket is not the money-making machine like it is with the BCCI in India. There's like the Big Bash League. When it happens, you don't even find out. No one talks about it. It comes and goes every year.
Yeah, you told me, Raj. Australia, when I was in Australia, the cricket was different, and now it is very different. I can see there's a lot of difference. A lot of difference in where it is marketed. I'm very surprised. I think it's not the way it's marketed. Thanks, Sudeep. We had a long discussion. Over to you, Ayan. I think you have a good question. Yeah, over to you, Ayan.
Yeah. So my question has been discussed a bit in the sense of
can you put your camera a bit? Your mouth is half. Yeah. Right. Thanks. That's right.
So we did discuss a bit about Nathan Leon. So what I really wanted to talk about or ask your opinion about is Australia at all serious about spin? Because, after the Great One, I mean, for example, Australia has had a great leg spinning tradition, starting from Billy O'Reilly. You had Beno, and then, of course, you had those Gleason and, those kind of sudden sort of wonder spinners, kind of, freak spinners, Al Gleason were there. And then, of course, Vaughan came in. Vaughan, of course, is a legend. And then we also had Stuart McGill. But after that, this leg spinner supply, Zampa is there, but he has not played a single test match. He's not, of course, considered to be good for tests. Now we have gone to Nathan
Lyon, yeah.
Lyon, Nathan Lyon, and he's of course not getting younger. Is
Yeah.
there any serious spin bowling backup at all? Or I mean, are they serious? I mean, they're thinking it's going to be all pace. I mean, like England. I mean, England, of course, has had
No,
Swan.
they will always have they will always have a spinner, but the spinner they will pick will get the backing of the team, like Shane Warne got or Nathan Lyon got. Uh, I think the other spinner is Todd Murphy. I just remember Todd Murphy. So if if Lyon is injured, Todd Murphy will come in to the side. But uh, the reason for spin bowling being, lacking in Australia is down to the pitch conditions, playing conditions. If
Sydney
they,
has always been a turner, right? Sydney has always sort
yeah,
of been.
traditionally it has been, but of late even that has been proven to be that when they have drop-in pitches, all bets are off.
Yes, right.
In drop-in pitches, Perth, India has been winning.
Yes, right.
Sydney has been drawn. At least not the last time, but the time before. So I think that's where it comes down to that it's the pitch conditions are such in Australia that spinners are not going to unless they are really really good. And Nathan Lyon is really really good.
But
He has won Test matches.
why do you think this suddenly changed? Because Warren was, McGrath and Warren were the ones who really, bore the Australian bowling on their shoulders. I mean, they were the
Yeah,
one who
but
really carried the bowling.
it's a
Suddenly,
once in a lifetime. Shane Warne is a once in a
yeah, that's right.
lifetime
But you had McGill as well. Stuart McGill
phenomenon.
was also not bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
better than probably what you have now. Now, there somehow it's not
yeah.
even fashionable to bowl spin. I mean, do you think it is because the spinners were not there, therefore the nature of the pitches changed, or is it the other way that they changed the nature of the
Oh
pitches and
no, I
therefore there are
think
no spinners?
no, I think there isn't that. It's just the nature of the actual wickets in Australia, and just like the wickets in India, they tend to crumble. The soil is different. I think it's
Right.
down to that. Yeah.
But was tremendously successful in Australia, right? It's enormously successful in Australia. So
Yes.
I mean, the Australian wickets do give. I mean, especially if you're a leg spinner who's like a bit, bouncy or even where Kumble actually got a decent amount of success in the later half. I mean,
Yeah.
even in 2003-4, he was very good at Sydney,
Yes.
and even later on. So I mean, are you saying that the Australian pitches have even changed
Oh
from what
yeah.
they were in 2000, the first decade of 2000s?
100%. They are more like a batting paradise at the moment, comparatively, compared to the past.
Yeah, yeah, that is probably true.
Not saying compared to in Indian
Yeah,
conditions,
yeah,
but
that's a
compared to
breath
the
of
previous, like for like. Perth until 15 years ago was a completely different ball
absolutely,
game.
absolutely.
And yeah, since
I
they
mean,
have the
yeah.
drop-in pitches, it's completely changed.
But
It
drop-in
doesn't have.
pitches seem to be a bit spicy towards fast bowling, right? I mean, they're not really that placid.
They are. Yeah, yeah, they are for fast bowling, but not for I mean, not for
It's,
spin.
nothing is there for spin. So
Because
it
they are held
was
together better. They are
okay, okay.
designed to be held together, not break up as
But
much.
they are bouncy also, right? I mean, the bounce factor is still there.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They are.
Okay.
But see, the fear of facing a fast bowler on the same pitch and facing a spinner on the same pitch is different. And also, don't forget that the batsmen are more and more getting better at you can say the art of playing spin. That's why spin hasn't been that dominating. Even Indian spinners haven't been able to dominate as much. Look at how New Zealand came to India and
But they defeated us on spin. I mean, their spinners got our
exactly,
batsmen out, right? But our batsmen failed to their spinners, right? But in Australia, you
exactly.
would
It
think
was
that, the grounds are bigger, so the possibilities of a spinner getting, even not so much hit,
yeah,
getting catches at the boundary line probably would be higher. In Australia,
yeah,
don't
it
you
would
think
be.
that?
But
Because,
don't forget the technology of the bats.
yeah, yeah, that's
That's
become much better.
it
It's
is.
phenomenally different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is
So,
unfair to the bowlers.
So would you agree that spin in Australia is like a dying art or something? And we will not really have spinners come
Oh,
up in the level of pace
I
bowlers?
think Test cricket in Australia, not just spin. Test cricket in Australia.
It's dying out.
Yes, 100%. I mean, this is you can say like one of the final crops. After this, like we're saying, who are the bowlers? Nobody knows. Who are the batsmen? Hard to say.
But Australian grounds, I mean, Australia is probably one of the places where when India or England goes, the grounds are full. I mean, you don't have that much of audience in India in test
Yeah.
matches in the
Yeah,
manner that you
live.
have in Australia, right?
That's true. That's true. Live sports is big. It's like, if you look at the SCG or the MCG or the Adelaide Cricket Ground, they are in the center of the city. It's easy to get to. When you
That
have
is
cricket being at Narendra Modi Stadium or
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah. That is
Mohali
some.
Cricket Ground or Dharamsala, it is hard for people to get to.
Yeah, so that is something which we had discussed. So Australia actually
Yeah, we
one
are
way
keeping on discussing. Yeah.
they keep
Yeah,
alive Test cricket is by having sticking to the same
they
grounds,
do,
which
but
have a culture.
Test cricket viewing is live and kicking. But Test cricketers are
Oh, okay,
going to
okay.
become
Yeah.
sparse. Like, is there
Okay.
a replacement for Travis Head? Is there, because India has an embarrassment of riches. They can
Yes,
still
right.
have,
Right, right.
we can still have an argument about who should be on the Indian Test side right now. But
So
Australia doesn't
it's
have that.
so it's an opposite thing, right? In India, the crowds are not going to tests, and in
Yeah,
Australia, the players are not sort of going towards, inclined towards tests because money is a big difference, I guess, right? Huge
yeah,
difference.
they're going towards the flashy side of cricket, which is,
Far more richer.
yeah, yeah.
Like makes you much more
And
richer.
also think of it, Australia's migrant population is what contributes to 75% of the population growth each year, new migrants coming in.
Mhm.
So when they come in from places like India and Pakistan, what type of cricket do they want to play? Or their
Yes.
next generation? They all want to play.
Shorter format,
Yeah,
T20,
their
basically.
their heroes are all Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, not Cheteshwar Pujara.
Yes, right. There is something,
In
this is very
general,
interesting, actually.
In
I
general,
mean,
Raj, we discussed
yeah.
this few months back. Cricket in general, what Ayan was saying, and the marketing part of it, I think that is something the West Indian cricket is also we have discussed in one of our shows. I think in general, the next generation doesn't want to play cricket also. That's what he told me also. They want to play
Yeah,
rugby, they want to play futsal, they want to play other sports. So that is concerning, Raj.
look, cricket is still growing in Australia. I won't say that it's dying out. There's a lot
Is
of
it growing or is it stagnant?
It's growing. The population change has happened, right? Because in the last 35, 40 years, there's been more migration. And now, if you see the population growth in Australia, like I said, 75% of the new Australians are typically people born overseas or their children. So that's changing the landscape. But when will they get a breakthrough into the test side? That remains to be seen. We've seen some cricketers from migrant backgrounds break through. But yeah, it's still the $1 million question of when will it happen? When
Mhm.
you'll see when you see a test side in Australia, which looks like the UAE or the USA
USA.
one day sides full of migrants.
That
That's
might happen.
probably,
There's no doubt.
but
Yeah,
that's
it will
still
happen.
a, but that's a far cry, right? Because at the moment, I think cricket is still pretty much popular as a career option as well in among sports, right? Because
It
I
is.
think
It
this
is. Yeah.
is one of the games where Australia still dominates quite a bit. I think in other sports, tennis, of course, is probably there. But football
They
is not
dominate
something
sport,
that,
swimming and tennis, they dominate.
swimming, right, swimming.
See,
Swimming and
even
tennis,
even
they
even those two are changing rapidly. Like Australia used to dominate in swimming and tennis because a lot of Australian homes used to have a tennis court and swimming pools.
swimming pool, correct. I
But
have seen that. Yeah.
now because of the value of land in Australia, because of migration again, because there are more migrants, you need more
More
housing.
land.
So instead of having a tennis court, they are having, a townhouse so that they can sell that because it's a lot more lucrative.
But that
Australia has
Tennis,
data,
changed, I
yeah.
think.
But
Yeah.
then these are individual sports, tennis and swimming. It's a team sports. I think one of the team sports that Australia is really good in is probably hockey, of course, is there,
Yeah.
and probably cricket.
See, it's down to one factor, which is grassroots level coaching.
Yes,
Any
right.
sport, like in India, like all of you are sitting in Calcutta, which is like the home of Indian football. Grassroots level coaching, is still good in Calcutta. But you go outside of Calcutta, in other places, grassroots level coaching is very abysmal.
Yeah,
So I think that plays a big role. In Australia, cricket is saved only because the coaching standards are very high,
very hard.
which
Right.
now you can get in India now. You can get
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, yeah.
academies, even Rahul Dravid has an academy.
Well, like
There are
cricket
many.
actually is more popular in India, much more popular than football, because football is probably a dying thing in India. It's very little. It's a very
Yeah.
ironic thing because this is the most popular sport in the world, and yet India doesn't seem to be interested in football at all.
Well,
I
you'll
mean,
have
it's
to
not
have another
interested.
episode
Yeah.
on
This is a different
The
thing.
football.
infra issues and a lot of other issues are there. Not only
Yeah,
dying, the
yeah, yeah.
infra,
See,
a lot of
in,
politics involved in
Interest,
that,
no,
Raj.
interest is important. No, interest is not there.
because see, in
Money is not there.
Australia, the biggest saving grace for Australian sports is that sports and politics are parallel but not never mixing.
Exactly,
Level.
level. Exactly the
It's
point. India is
Yeah.
you can't never separate them.
completely, and
Yeah.
it's entirely entangled.
Political, yeah.
Completely entangled now.
So that's one of the reasons why, like one of the questions I think I was asked just now was, what is the Australian public's view on the Ashes? There are two things. One is there is a pure cricket lover in Australia who would only talk about cricket. Then there's one who is like a sports lover who will play or watch any code. They'll watch rugby, they'll watch Olympics, they'll watch soccer, which is what they call football here. They will call Aussie rules football. They'll follow NRL.
Rules, yeah.
They'll follow every sport, and they are passionate about any sport that Australia is playing. So Australia has a lot of that culture, which is kind of missing in India. When there's a cricket follower, they will only follow cricket. No other sport comes even close.
I
That
think it's
population
marketed,
in
Raj. The
Australia,
marketing is also important. The money from corporate sponsorship is
yeah,
too good in India. The money,
yes,
there's a lot of money flow in India.
Exactly.
yes, but even though there is money flow, like an Australian cricketer can go and play IPL and can play in, even the Pakistan League, for example. Um, I wouldn't say that money is the key driver for people who play sports. Like, there is not one cricketer except for Shane Warne, I would say, who lived this large life and did all these things. You can name 10 Indian cricketers who didn't even reach his level, half his level. They lived like that. Yeah, in Australia, it's part of the culture that, like nobody talks about money as such. So in India, it's become part of the culture, which never used to be, that money has become number one,
Yeah.
number
Become
one
a number
factor.
one. Correct. Very, very true.
Because of, like this whole
Yeah.
notion of IPL auction and all that. If
Right.
you ask the average Australian, they would find it to be obscene.
Very correct. Yes. So do
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, it is because to talk about sports and it's when they know it's all a formula at the end of the day. So the attitude towards the Ashes is that it's still a pure form of the
Cricket.
of cricket, and that's why the following, the history attached to it, the Border Gavaskar Trophy can never,
Match.
match. And I hope they
But it's
don't.
coming up. I think it's coming up fast.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of
I hope they
money, the
don't.
money which is,
Yeah, I was saying that I hope they don't fiddle with the name of Border Gavaskar Trophy,
yeah,
just
like
like
they did
they
it.
did with the
The
Pataudi.
Pataudi. Oh, that was horrible. That was very shoddy. Very, very shoddy.
Terrible decision. I think
Terrible.
I hope it gets reversed in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah, they could have a Tendulkar Trophy for something else, but
Not
correct.
for this. Correct.
I think not very well taken by Tendulkar himself. He was a bit surprised with that. I mean,
yeah,
shoddy,
yeah.
shoddy. I mean, very shoddy. Thank you, Ayan. We're good.
Yeah.
We're just the last questions coming up for my side. Uh, this is related something to we have not discussed, Raj, the pitch. Australia and England, both when India toured them, they had selected the grounds in such a way that I had written in my Facebook also that they wanted to tire out Bumrah. so that they had those grounds by the time Bumrah reached the final phases, and that is exactly what happened in the BGT. Bumrah broke off and Australia won 3-1. Although the test match which you spoke about, in which Rishabh Pant had a brain fade, there was a good chance of India winning at MCG. But historically, Australia and England, both, they prepare the grounds in such a way that they tire out the main bowlers. So now the first three test matches, both Brisbane and Adelaide, do you think the drop, one is a pink test, do you think the drop pitches are really going to help in Australia's bowlers? My question is, the drop pitches, are they going to help the Australian bowlers? A part of Ian's question also. Do you think the drop pitches are going to help Australian bowlers more than the English bowlers?
I think not just the drop pitches, the home conditions will help the Australian bowlers a lot more. Given that, no, sorry about that. Given the fact that Mark Wood
No worry.
and Jofra Archer are both returning from injuries, I don't think that it's going to be very easy for them to survive the entire series. So I think the drop pitches and the home conditions, the situation there will help the Australian bowlers a lot more than the English bowlers. That's why I said that the English batsmen are the one who have to come out on top to win this Ashes, and the Australian bowlers are the ones who are more likely to come out on top to win it for them. It's a real battle. It's not an equal team because they're not playing like for like teams. The Australian bowling attack will be.
But don't you think Pat Cummins' absence weighs it in favor of England?
No.
Cummins' absence weighing it in favor of England? No. Why?
I think
Why is it not so? Cummins being such a marquee bowler.
Yeah. But I don't think Cummins will be out for the entire Ashes. Look, there's a lot of speculation, building up that he's playing, he's not playing at all. Yeah, I don't think anything of that sort. We'll have to wait and see. The Australians haven't announced
the first two matches. Yeah, the first match is not playing.
Yeah. See, England has announced their squad. Australia hasn't. So yeah.
Hasn't. Correct.
Yeah. So
correct.
There's a lot of dependency on them announcing the squad as well. But the bowling conditions will definitely favor. Like Nathan Lyon is lethal, in some of the venues. Like Mitchell Starc is lethal at the Adelaide Cricket Ground, So yeah.
So you feel that it is still going to be heavily in favor of Australia to win this series?
Not heavily. It'll be very closely fought. It'll be a bit of a seesaw.
Okay. So you're saying it might be a 2-2 like India and England?
Yeah, most likely.
Okay, we never expected a 2-2. It was a very, very tough series. I think I have a personal feeling England is going to win. Australia is going to win 4-0. You're saying no way 4-0.
No, I don't see that happening. Given the form the English batsmen are in and their attitude, it is to be tested because this is a completely different side to the last side which came. So yeah, huge difference.
Interesting. I don't know. Looks like. And my last question, Raj, is given which Sudeep also said, 3 of your main bowlers, if Cummins plays 4, 5 in fact in Leo, all the bowlers are over 35. So given the scenario that's a batting, I think something's gone off. Raj's camera is off.
Can you see me?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think you went off for a few seconds. Yeah. I repeat my question. Given a scenario like maybe Brisbane or maybe MCG, where it's a good batting pitch, it's not a drop pitch, and you have a good batting for, say, a day and a half, which might happen. It has happened for India also. All these bowlers 35 plus, if they play, do you think they can sustain? Like Bumrah is wrapped up in a cotton wool, they choose it. So they can sustain at 35, they can sustain bowling 90 overs and 120 overs.
You can't compare
all these 35 plus guys because the edge is an important issue.
Can't compare the Indian side.
Why do you say so?
Can't compare the Indian side to the Australian side. It's not like for like. Fitness levels.
So you're saying Hazelwood to Stark, even at 35, are much fitter than Siraj at 30, 31.
Definitely. And also the way they are managed. Above all, it's about leadership. It's
Okay.
about how
That's
they
an
are
interesting
managed.
point.
Yeah, it's got to do with, how the individual players, the bowlers, the batsmen, how they are managed. It's a psychological edge.
Okay.
Yeah. They look at the
So
way
you
the
see
Indian.
Australia bowling out easy, bowling for 2 days.
Yeah, easily.
I said Australian bowlers bowling for 2 days, easy.
Easy. I mean, it's never easy, but easier compared to Bumrah can't bowl for 2 days.
Yeah, obviously. That's what I was trying to get in.
And
And
it's
Australian bowlers are all
also
35 plus.
it's not Bumrah's fault. It's also the mechanics of how Bumrah bowls. It's got nothing to do with Bumrah, like his attitude, like people
No,
picking on
exactly.
him
Not his
for.
age, the thermodynamics of his body. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like people are saying that he should be more available for playing Test cricket for India. I don't think so. I think it should be others have to step up, and they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Raj. Thank you so much. We had a wonderful discussion. And so final take. What's your take on the scoreline before we let we go?
2-all. If I have to
2-all.
give one.
Yeah, because all of us think mostly that Australia will win 4-0. So you're saying no way 4-0.
No way. It won't be a 4-0. It's not that sort of an English side which will come and
You were
roll over.
saying England will win a test match. Achha. Okay.
Yes. Or 2.
Or 2. In spite of Steve Smith, Travis Head, all of them in good form, and Labuschagne, somewhere they will have to crumble for England to win. I do not see them crumbling. I don't know. We'll be watching
That's
that
it.
also.
Because see, they also have to bat against a Mark Wood and a Jofra Archer. They also have to come out and perform. So let the Australian side get announced.
Yeah,
the scoreline will become even more clearer.
Correct. I think the next week, I think the side is coming out in the next week. So
yeah,
we'll probably know, but we'll definitely catch up with you, Raj, after the series, and we'll then match scores and match our predictions. Thank you so much, Raj, for joining all the way from Melbourne. My pleasure. And on behalf of Sudeep, Amit, and Ayan, thank you so much for your opinion on the opening conundrum as well as on the series. It's good to have you, Raj. Thank you. And have a good day.
Much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye.